Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome in, welcome back. Welcome to the Forts Pro League Season 6. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are ready because today we're kicking off the next Forts Pro League season. We're going to show the first matches here live on stream. As you guys may be familiar, but I'm going to go over the Forts Pro League for those who are just signing in, who haven't seen it before. The Forts Pro League is an open season type competitive activity here within the Forts community. It's, well, everyone gets to sign in with their teams, their 2v2, usually a player and their friends. And they play for points over the course of the open season. They play against anyone, against everyone, in a wonderful round-robin type experience. And those with the most points get to play in the playoffs, a big competitive event at the end of the season. Well, today we're starting the seasons, and we've got a few high-tier and hyped-up matches for you guys today. I want to say thank you to everyone who's joining us here at the start. We have both players and viewers alike. And I want to see your guys' support for everyone as it starts. So make sure to use that bracket command so you can see the list of players in the season. And make sure to tell me who your favorite team is, even if they're not here today. Alright, and we've got a few minutes before we start the first match. As you can see on screen, we've got the matches up here. Currently, everyone's scores are, well, 0 because the matches haven't quite started yet. But here you see your teams, so make sure to check out the teams if you haven't already. If you're unfamiliar, as well, we've got a lot of good players in there, including some fan favorites. See, Greenleaf. Greenleaf is always fun. It is always funny to me to see which names are just hilarious and which names are, well, comprised of members of competitors who are quite popular. I see Nut Power is quite popular. I'm entirely convinced this is due to the name. I recall Fish is Fish and Fish are Friends are another team set full of players that are beloved. Let's see, there's Fanfulinci. Fanfulinci was always fun. I think mostly because it's fun to say, for no other reason. That's not true, the players are good. Alright. Unfortunately, Nose won't be joining us today. I know, you guys always look forward to Nose. It's always a good time having him around, but unfortunately he's not here, so it'll just be us today. If you guys are looking for these matches, these same casts in other languages, make sure to check out the Forts category. I believe Zaltzvak isn't here today. But I do believe, is it OG who's doing the French cast?
Yes.
Do we have a German caster today? Or is that off?
Corby.
Corby. Okay. I don't know that I recognize the name, but make sure to check him out if you guys are...
Baumständer, which you should recognize.
Baumständer. Okay. That I recognize. That makes more sense to me. I'm more familiar with that one. Okay, so there we go. So make sure to check them out if you guys are looking for multilingual forts or simply forts in other languages besides English. You have options. And there they are. Alright. OG, Baumständer, Infinity Power, Corby, and Communa.
You will
Communal.
not. Don't worry about it.
I will. It's fun to try. Sometimes. I like how at this point you've all but given up on getting me to pronounce French words. Good lord. That is the voice of a 42 scientist, by the way.
Yes, greetings.
Greetings. As you guys know and love him. He's around all the time, taking through things. 42 scientists is playing. Why don't you tell us about that, 42? Seems they have found you on the bracket.
Exactly, I'm on the bracket for this season. Well, at some point, Phil wanted to play, of course, as usual. But the thing is, his usual teammates are not available. And so he asked me, and I was like, yeah, sure. Why not?
I like this.
And I've been practicing.
We get to see. Good. We get to see 42 actually joining us. Does this mean you may join us for some of our streams, and you can come dumpster all the people like me whenever I try to play vanilla? Yes. I'm looking forward to that. Good lord. There we go. It looks like we got people using the bracket command, checking out the brackets and the placements. Love to see it. Okay then. We've got a few minutes here before the first match starts. We're getting the players all together. The picks, bans, and such are completed, so we should be getting through this relatively swiftly. Let's go ahead and check out the picks and bans for the first matchup. Ooh. Phantom and Pinchfist are banned. So, we mentioned this before. We got a couple maps in the couple new maps in the map pool: Eclectic Threat and Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain I've seen before, as both of these maps were part of Peel's map tournament. And Eclectic Threat, I think, just looks really cool, just aesthetically. And I was really hoping to see it. But I haven't seen Eclectic Threat like in actual practice. Like it didn't get played when I was there, and I haven't seen it played, so I don't know what it plays like. Heavy Rain's just kind of like, it's fairly vanilla-like, I guess is a good way to describe it. But Eclectic Threat is visually stunning, and I'm really hoping we're going to get to see it at some point, especially today. But it looks like the first match is going to be on Stalactites 2v2, so we're going with some pretty standard matchups here, with Phantom and Pinchfist banned. I'm surprised to see Phantom banned, but also not surprised to see Phantom banned. Phantom is one of those where... How do I want to describe this? It's the ultimate cheese creature. So seeing Phantom banned is never a surprise, in so much as it isn't regularly chosen by players because it's a hard dedicated cheese and nothing else. So banning it bans the cheese, but it also doesn't meaningfully impact what your opponents can do, because it doesn't affect any real strategies. So it is always funny to see Phantom banned, but I guess if you know your opponents and they like to cheese, then banning Phantom can keep them a bit more honest. I say as if there aren't other cheeses. Alright. That's still funny. I just want to say I love the team logos here. Some of them get so creative. Just looking at the Pinchfist commander in a tuna can. It gets me every time. Does this mean another competitive accelerator? You know, in the Forts Pro League, we don't often see super meme strats like competitive accelerator kind of stuff. Well, I say super meme and then put competitive in front of it, but we don't often see things like accelerators in the Forts Pro League. It is a little bit too try hard, a little bit too competitive for that, but we have seen things like that before. It's not impossible, it's just unlikely. Oh, and speaking of funny teams, the first match is going to be Nut Power versus Buzzsaw Dilemma. Nut Power is Nutellafish and Infinity Power, thus the name. And Buzzsaw is Bombstander and Neruki. Actually, I see Bren here. Is Bren substituting in for Nutellafish today? Oh, everyone's here now. Bren is spectating. Okay. No, he's not. He's gone. Okay, good. Much better.
Yeah, he's a sub for Nut Power, and I don't think I should let him be observer.
Probably not, even if only to keep the game a little bit more stable. So Nuts Power versus Buzzsaw Dilemma. Coming soon to a round near you. Alright, well the players are here, so I hope you guys are ready because we're about to get started. Alrighty then. Banter in chat. It's beginning already. Always funny with the players. We don't show it because it gets a little messy at times. But it is always funny to see the players banter with each other. It's always a good bit of fun. Alrighty then. We've gone ahead and opened up the predictions. So for those who are here with us live and not watching the VOD, you get to vote in chat for your favorite teams. I hope you guys are ready. Ladies and gentlemen. Alright, it looks like we are about good to go. I think we're starting here in a moment. Make sure to grab your drinks, grab your snacks, because we're jumping into the action. The players are ready and the match is made. Question from chat, is core throwing permitted in this league? So, the Forts Pro League this time around does not have co-op on death enabled. If you throw your core, you're gone. Forever.
You're a down player.
Yes. So, to my knowledge, core cannons, the core catapult itself is not banned. It is simply not a strategy worth doing. Correct?
Well, I haven't changed the rule from previous FPL about that, so technically it's still dead. But
Okay. Okay, so
I wouldn't
technically
imagine
it
anyone
is
trying
banned.
to do it anyway.
Yes, okay, so technically it is banned, it just also isn't worth doing. Understood. Alright, we are off.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 1 of the Forts Pro League. Buzzsaw Dilemma versus Nut Power. For here we have on the left hand side, it is Team Buzzsaw Dilemma playing as the Spook Commander. Buzzsaw Dilemma players Naduki and Baumständer. Well, one of the German teams here, Baumständer, you can find him live on Twitch. They're playing against their opponents on the right hand side in the red forge. It is Team Nut Power, that is Infinity Power and Nutella Fish. They're playing as the Overdrive Commander. Things are progressing about as we would expect here for a competitive vanilla-like map. You see the bases being skeletalized and converted into progress. Snipers for both teams getting set up in variant positions just to be a little annoying, but nothing real in terms of damage output, as both teams are off racing to reconstruct their bases and progress their tech tree. Unsurprisingly, we see Team Nutella, or Team Nut Power, going for the double upgrade center, as the Overdrive Commander permits them to use the upgrade center as tech, so they're using the upgrade center as technology. Team Buzzsaw Dilemma on the left side here is also going upgrade center, but they're doing a different tier 1 tech to go alongside it. Looks like one for workshop, one for armory. So we're going to see a variety of weapons options out of Team Buzzsaw Dilemma, whereas Team Nutella Power is just going straight upgrade center and nothing else. In the current meta, it is normal to see that upgrade center be used for early mines and turbine upgrades, or should I say generic economic upgrades. But it looks like we're actually seeing them go straight to heavier weapons technology. One for cannons, one for lasers. Alright, now we're seeing economic upgrades, and we're seeing economic upgrades for both sides here. Ooh.
Read
AP Sniper out of Infinity Power. That's going to be a threat. That's beautiful sniping, by the way. He's hitting that door perfectly. But it looks like Team Buzzsaw Dilemma is just selling off their snipers. Well, no, he's adding a second door onto one of them. Nanuki sold off his sniper. He's not competing for the sniper war anymore. Ooh. But Baumständer is. He's upgrading his own sniper to an AP sniper. Okay, that's gonna get exciting. The heavy weapons technologies are completing up, so we're going to see the development of our first heavier weapons. Oh, Infinity Power takes a hit. AP snipers straight through the fronts. One thing about players of this caliber, they tend to get greedy. So greedy, in fact, that a single sniper can hit their course, which is what had just happened. Infinity Power is down to 70%. He's not in real danger of death here or anything of the sort. It's just something he can't permit to continue. Team Buzzsaw, just keeping him honest. Speaking of Buzzsaw, I don't see... I do see a Buzzsaw coming out from Team Buzzsaw Dilemma. That could potentially be an issue. It's also worth noting that, as is usual for the Forts Pro League, there are no time limits. You guys don't have to worry about people playing for time or generally gaming the system, as it were. Which is a lot more enjoyable. We don't have to worry about that kind of thing. So we're going to see... This is going to end when players... This is going to end when the players explode, and not a moment sooner. That was close. That plasma almost exploded. It's still... just that...
Greed is real.
Oh, he's almost got it. Honestly, Team Nut Power is playing so greedily that Team Buzzsaw Dilemma could actually just end the game using nothing but snipers and buzzsaws. For perspective here, Nanuki on top has a single howitzer placed, whereas his direct opponent, Infinity Power, has 2 howitzers placed. That's an entire howitzer worth of defense that Nanuki has, and Infinity Power doesn't. This leaves him vulnerable to these kind of early game pressures like buzzsaws, snipers, rockets, and such.
Those howitzer spots look so precarious. This is crazy.
Now, the question does become, how well do these howitzers do? Because it looks like Infinity Power is going to get away with, well, building 2 howitzers and somewhat less defense in the early bit, just because he's not being pressured very hard. So Infinity Power will have 2 howitzers to bring the bear, and that's going to be very dangerous. It is meta on this map to bring howitzers in the upper position, and we're going to see why. And that why is because they're very good.
Then he does have 2 shotguns to defend.
Indeed. Nanuki's got a pair of shotguns, and he holds it. He holds the line. Just blasting those cannon rounds out of the air. Those howitzer rounds are gone. Oh my god, he makes the hit.
Crazy hit.
Plasma? Double plasma? Slaps it off.
Into the abyss it goes.
And howitzer in reply. Impact. Cuts pretty deep, but nothing that Infinity Power can't tank. He has successfully developed his defenses. So now things are getting interesting. So here's the problem. At least the problem for Team Buzzsaw Dilemma. Buzzsaw Dilemma does not currently possess the firepower to break any of the players on Team Nut Power. Nanuki in the top fort here is trying to fix that by putting a cannon, replacing much of his defense with a cannon. Understandable. He's trying to increase his firepower here because, well, as you see, it hits and Infinity Power just tanks it. It gets about halfway through his armor, and that's it. Halfway through his armor is not very deep when it's, well, it takes the entire combined firepower of both players and the opponents. On the other hand, Team Nut Power just has a lot more firepower available to them. I mean, they have twice the howitzers, twice the cannons, or twice the howitzer and twice the lasers. It's literally 2x the firepower, and it's real firepower that could, if it hits, is potentially game-ending. So one team here can realistically end the game basically at any moment, whereas the other team just can't. Even the addition of these buzzsaws didn't get through Infinity Power's defenses. The thing is, and the reason why Nut Power hasn't directly won or is close to winning right now, is because Buzzsaw Dilemma has some pretty substantial defenses. I mean, look at that. The howitzer just gets blasted out of the sky by the shotgun. Of course, one lands, but one howitzer is insufficient to break through Nanuki's armor. It does a lot of damage, and Nanuki really doesn't want to get hit by that again. but he's alive, and that's a good start. So now we're going to a situation where Team Infinity Power is doing what they can to work down the defenses of the Nuki. They're trying to take out those shotguns. They're trying to slowly work through things because realistically, Team Buzzsaw Dilemma just has map control. They control when the snipers are allowed to shoot. They control when weapons are allowed to be fired. And for so long as they have that kind of control, Team Nut Power isn't going to be able to consistently or realistically get any major work done. Of course, that remains true for so long as Team Nut Power doesn't just completely overwhelm Buzzsaw's defenses, which is not impossible given the context here. Whereas Team Buzzsaw Dilemma looks to be focusing on door snipes, as they're saying, hey, we can't quite break through your armor yet. We don't have the firepower for it, but every time you open your door, we can send a shot clean through where the armor isn't, you know, the open door. That's a lot of laser. Fire beam double plasma cuts deep, but bomb standard defends it. Standard cannon flies. Howitzer. And Buzzsaw Dilemma now has a second howitzer. It's going to cost him defenses to do this, but they do have a second howitzer on the board. Oh god, he's replacing all of his armor. All of it. With cannons. That was totally worth it. Oh, Infinity Power misses. Double howitzer hits. Second laser follow-up? No. It doesn't have an angle.
Yeah, I don't think he has the angle.
Yeah, if only, if only.
I think it's more than worth it.
Infinity Power does what it can. And it's enough. Holds. He's gonna take a hit here. Oh, that's not a lot of damage. Nanuki's just free to fire his howitzers in response. Solid hits.
Whiffing.
Plasma cuts from below. Plasma is trying to door snipe each other. They're trying so hard to door snipe each other. Ooh, and the shotgun goes down. Infinity Power is getting worn down by these standard cannons. Oh, a huge hit from below. Nutellafish knocks out Nanuki's cannon. Nanuki loses a cannon and, more importantly, loses the shotgun. Nanuki throwing down a whole bunch of sandbags, hoping to catch some of those howitzers, and catches one of them. Mitigating a lot of that damage because losing the cannon and the shotgun is a massive blow to his defenses. And that's cutting deep. Infinity Power cannot take these kinds of hits. That's way too much damage to mitigate. Those lasers from below, Nutellafish is doing wonderful damage to Nanuki here. And all the while... Oh, that's it? Infinity Power unable to recover in time, and Bomb Standard just wipes out the entirety of Infinity Power's weapons. It's just all gone. His base is gone. Nutellafish, not going down without a fight, gets a wall of machine gunners and tries to take out those howitzer shells as they fly across, but it just isn't enough. A howitzer shell lands, cracks open his defenses, Plasma scathing the front of his armor. Nutellafish is just going to be banking on getting some door snipes here to even out the damage. Just firing in spite, hoping to get some damage done, and it splashes and washes all over Buzzsaw's, or should I say Bomb Standard's armor, but no penetration, no real damage dealt. It's just a quick fix to the paint job, and the plasma beams are firing again. It cuts deep, the armor is penetrated. He doesn't get the sell-off in time. Nutellafish internal explosions as the lasers pen his base and hit everything. Batteries on fire, plasmas exploding, Telefish's core down to 54%. Team Buzzsaw Dilemma just wielding their map control, bringing snipers to bear everywhere, taking out every single one of Nutellafish's machine gunners. There's nothing stopping these. Oh, did he really just do that?
Wow, that's insane.
There was nothing stopping those howitzer shells from blasting Nutellafish out of this game, except for Nutellafish, and that single plasma beam took out both howitzers in one shot. Should I say both howitzer projectiles? That's wild. Very well shot. Very, very well done by the Nutellafish. Yes, they're keeping Nutellafish in the lockdown. Yes, they're grinding him down and putting him pretty deep into a death spiral. Look at that massive damage. But all the while, they're making themselves even more powerful in the process. I mean, look at this. Bombstander's just added in 2 nukes and a swarm missile, and he's bringing them online. That's going to be a disgusting amount of damage once he gets the energy to actually fire them, which I guess he can technically fire them, but he can't fire them alongside his plasmas right now. He needs much more energy production.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to.
But yeah, no, he does. You're right. He doesn't need to. Nukes land. Primary defenses are penetrated, and the howitzers are coming in to just destroy anything that remains. Look at it. He survived that somehow. That was an incredible amount of... I don't even want to call that skill. That just felt like luck. Things happening to land in the right way. Nutellafish, barely alive. He's got about 1 shot left of this plasma. Bombstander doing the chain fire thing to make sure that one plasma can't annihilate both nukes. Oh, and there it goes. Team Buzzsaw Dilemma wipes out their opponents here in round 1. Now that was beautiful. Very, very well done. Well, that was exciting. Now you see, this is what I love about the Forts Pro League. It's just so good at these kinds of games. The teams are so well balanced. The matches are so explosively exciting. It just doesn't stop. It's beautiful. Alrighty then. Give us a minute while we set up for round 2 in this best of 3. Round 2 will be on up and down.
It might be
A
worth
classic
mentioning
and very
that
popular.
we are no longer using co-op on death.
Yes. We mentioned it before, but we'll mention it again. We are no longer using co-op on death. Which means once a player is eliminated, once a core is destroyed, they're gone. They cannot join their teammates. Their teammate has to suffer all alone. They have to go out with a bang or die trying, so to speak. No, I'm in chat, and I could say a little bit of background here. Nutellafish, not Nutellafish, Team Nut Power believes themselves to be mostly washed, or at least believes that they won't live up to the hype. But you can't say you're not going to live up to the hype and then take out 2 howitzer rounds with a single plasma. I mean, come on. Congratulations. You're good at the video game. Good lord, that's funny. right, it looks like we're about ready to round 2. And I hope you guys are. You guys are going to be jumping into the action here momentarily. Wrapping up the commanders. Why are you like this, Nutella? Why are you like... Oh my god.
Obviously, they're picking Phantom. You know, the only one which is banned.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yeah, I know. They're just being trolls in game chat. Not in VC, I closed Discord for better frame rate. Good god. It doesn't stop. This is why y'all love Team Nut Power. It's not why you love Team Nut Power, it's because you guys love the name. And it's just not just because of the meme behavior. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We're off to round 2. Team Buzzsaw Dilemma versus Team Nut Power. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Nut Power. Infinity Power in the top base, Nutella in the bottom base. They are playing as the Spook Commander. Well, it looks like they've borrowed their opponent's commander choice. They're playing as the Spook Commander here. Whereas on the right-hand side, in the red, their opponents, it is Team Buzzsaw Dilemma. Anuki on the top fort, Bombstander on the bottom fort. They've got snipers, and they're letting their opponents know about it. They're also playing as the Armadillo Commander. So Armadillo Commander kind of came into the meta. It came into the meta a couple patches ago now, with the adjustment to basically just the stats on it. It gets faster doors, so it lets them do sniper things a bit more safely. It's incredibly annoying for everyone involved. It is also has cheaper metal, and cheaper metal has big implications. Not only do you get less metal back when you sell at the start, but it also doesn't cost as much to repair, so you can meaningfully build out of metal without breaking your bank. Additionally, metal is lighter. It is much more like wood. Basically, when you're playing on Armadillo, wood is... you don't need to use wood as much. You can put metal kind of sort of everywhere, and it's just fine. You don't break your bank, you don't collapse your fort by virtue of being too heavy. You can throw extra doors on things without slowing down your fire rate. It's incredibly effective at just going for this late game economic pressure. It doesn't get more economy, it just uses less. So in the totality of the circumstances, you end up having more economy than your opponents when things actually start happening. Not to mention Armadillo's active ability, which grants them additional repair efficiency, so they can repair things cheaper. Which is just... it means that if they go to the late game, they can outscale their opponents in terms of money available to them. And it results in, well, Armadillo being an actually decent commander, assuming that you are adept at keeping your money, and assuming that you're adept at managing your economy and going for the late game. And we've seen it a lot more often for those reasons here in the Forts Pro League. This is one example, where Team Buzzsaw Dilemma on the right-hand side is going for this Armadillo kind of late game play. And part of going for that involves going for the upgrade center and getting those economic options going, which we've already seen. In Bomb Standard, it's only at the 3-minute mark, and yet we see upgraded mines at Bomb Standard. Worth noting that Buzzsaw Dilemma, at least Infinity Power, has an upgrade center, though hasn't used it yet. We do see the token EMP, one for each team. Ooh, and the EMP touches the core. Utillifish takes a hit. Wow, the secondary explosion on that. Utillifish down to 52%. That's a lot more damage than you typically get out of an EMP. Typically, you don't get damage out of an EMP, period. You just slow your opponent down, prevent, I don't know, shut down tech, shut down mines or something. If you're super lucky, you might get a turbine, so seeing any damage at all is a lot. Way more than I would reasonably expect. But it happens, and Utillifish is down to 52% left on his core, which is, you know, not much HP for all things considered. Alright. It looks like the snipers are having a bit of fun. We've seen this as a regular event. Team Buzzsaw Dilemma has been... well, they've been doing an incredible job at keeping their snipers active and just suppressing Team Nut Power. It's actually kind of demoralizing to be in Nut Power's position here, just getting absolutely bodied on the sniper war. But as is, Team Buzzsaw Dilemma has... both players are nearly max in their economy, whereas Team Nut Power is only about halfway there. I am curious to see how this is going to go on. Generally speaking, the longer this match goes on, the more Buzzsaw Dilemma will pull ahead by virtue of economic advantage. Oh, and it's vulnerable to sniping. But they're okay. We see Team Infinity Power going for standard cannons and Team Nut Power going for standard cannons and lasers, which is not unusual. Whereas Team Buzzsaw Dilemma is going for howitzers and lasers. I'm kind of expecting Team Buzzsaw Dilemma to switch to cannons. Like, they have one howitzer. Are they building a... is that... that's looks like another howitzer. Howitzer, wow. Oh. Technical difficulties. We need to hit the pause button. There we go. Looks like they have some Infinity Power. Infinity Power is struggling with this earlier. He's having some issues with his computer. He disconnected for a moment there, so we've paused the game, and we will be continuing here in a few seconds. There it goes. One of the joys of Fort, something that the developers did a while ago and has been a godsend, like saved the game levels of good, is they enabled players to rejoin when they crash out, and it just works. It works very smoothly as well. So whenever we have an issue where someone disconnects due to internet concerns or whatever the issue may be, you can just pause the game, let them rejoin in, and that's it. And there is a perfect example of it. I like Nanuki's base here. It's very tall, or rather, it's very well... it's designed for going tall, I should say. It's got turbines in the rear where they're nice and safe. Man's building another EMP. You see Infinity Power building cannons. So far, both teams have heavy weapons and are ready to field them, ready to wield them at any time. But no one is choosing to do so. Instead, we see an EMP. Oh, okay. Well, that explains what's going on there. A little bit of collusion, collaboration. Nanuki shuts down Infinity Power's portal, shields, and bomb standard just blasts him from below at an odd angle with a laser. You know, that works pretty well. Once again, EMP shuts down the shield. I do indeed see standard cannons out of infinity power. Anuki also going with standard cannons now. I love to see it. I'm gonna say, in this position, standard cannons feel like the, at least in my opinion, the superior option, especially if you're going with Armadillo, who's looking to out-eco your opponent anyways. Why risk it with the howitzer when you can just cannon? But hey, you know, if you can make the howitzer work and actually land hits and do damage, it is more effective than a standard cannon. It is much more effective than a standard cannon. So a little bit of greed can go a long way. Nanuki's building real big with this. Real big with this, and it makes me happy. Look at the size. Incendiary cannon lands. Look at that. He opens the door once and 3 sniper rounds go to the door. This is what you gotta live with. If you're nut power, every time you open your cannon doors or your laser doors, you just have a multitude of snipers trying to hunt for them. Like it's it just doesn't stop. Welcome to the Forts Pro League. It could be stressful. An EMP getting shut down. Standard cannons flying. One of them misses. How could you?
The target is so big.
Welp. Utility loses a fire beam. That's unfortunate. Utility really needs to get his firepower up. Bomb Stunder's working toward double nukes, whereas Nutellafish is struggling. Infinity Power is not struggling so much, he's just getting kind of outscaled here. He's having to deal with massive repair bills from tanking hits, while also trying to get weapons on the board. Very difficult to manage. Ooh. 2 very dangerous things happened here. One, Infinity Power got door sniped, and a cannon dropped. That was almost the end of Infinity Power here. Also, Infinity Power managed to break the forward bracing, like foundation node, in Nanuki's base. He's got stability tech, so he didn't break the entire base. That was close. That was real close. Nanuki's entire base lurched. Ooh, massive damage. Infinity Power just lost half of his turbines. And isn't. As double nukes lands, Nutellafish taking the double nukes directly to his weapon platform. I'm surprised he didn't take more damage than that. He still has a single plasma, which is more than I expected him to say. To keep after that impact. And Bombsteinder's just reloading and ready to do it again. Doesn't have the energy to do it again, but he's got a lot of turbines, so it's only a matter of time before he could fire that kind of strike once more. Looks like Infinity Power is going for a howitzer here. That's risky, but he just might have to take that risk. He needs more damage, and, well, their opponents are just outscaling him. Anuki building a second howitzer. Already up to 3 cannons.
The cannon tower keeps expanding.
Oh, it cuts deep. The Jellyfish trying for the door snipe, doesn't get it. And then it cuts so deep that he's down to a single, very stressed piece of wood defending that howitzer. Here comes the double nukes, going for the foundations. They both land, and it looks like they're trying to focus fire.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. Laser from below slices his foundations. Infinity power gets chopped off at the ankles, and down he goes. All that's left for Team Nut Power is Nutellafish and his very battered base.
This will be very hard to clutch.
Yes, this will be very, very difficult to clutch this one up. The amount of firepower staring down Nut Power here is... it's a lot. This is not the kind of firepower you can survive, period. Why are you like this? This is not the kind of firepower you can survive just generally. Like, the Telefish is gonna have to beam those nukes. And yeah, that's... he didn't... So now he's just gonna take the full brunt of everything, and all of his armor goes away. His core is exposed right now, as cannon rounds come in. He's rebuilding his armor here. He's trying to stay alive. He's gonna get another opportunity to fire with plasma. He's got to wait for door snipe opportunity. Well, there was the door snipe opportunity, and now there's only incoming death. Tried for it again, but that's it.
There it goes.
And it all comes crumbling down. Buzzsaw Dilemma wins it 2-0, knocking Nut Power out. Or rather, gaining 1 point, and Nut Power moves on to next week. Well played. Look at those beautiful, beautiful replays. So much damage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys make sure to stand up and stretch, make sure to grab a drink, make sure to refresh yourselves, because we've got a 5-minute break while we set up the next round. So take this opportunity to stand up, stretch, use your bio break opportunities, and I'll see you guys here in a couple minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the break. I hope you guys are ready for action because we're just about to go here. Next up, we have it is Team Dentists, 9 out of 10 Dentists recommend, and Dragon Warriors.
Always nice to see some new teams.
Yeah, we've put this one together because it's some relatively new players, or certainly newer players to the competitive scene. We've matched them together to see how they do against themselves, rather against each other. I always love to see the newer teams on in the competitive scene, either in the Pro League or the more formal tournaments. You see them more in the Pro Leagues because, well, it's an open season, there's much less pressure, and they can match against players that are of their relatively own skill level, as we will see here. But we do often see them in competitive tournaments, like the bigger tournaments as well. So it's really cool to see. Even though there is inevitably a moment where they encounter someone who's been playing since the beginning and just, eatens them out of whatever whatever round they're in. But it looks like we're about good to go here, so let's go ahead and jump into the picks and bans. Let's see what we've got going this time. For commanders, Firebird and Seep are banned, which is not terribly unexpected. Seep is it's the nuke commander, so that one gets some people really don't like nukes, and Firebird is Firebird. Some people really don't like Firebird. Mostly because Firebird
reference the new DLC.
Yes, actually, there's a new DLC. We could talk about that. Well, let's go into the picks and bans here for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
The players are about ready to go. But yes, the first map will be Vanilla Large, then followed up by Up and Down. So pretty vanilla, as it were. It's standard maps, nothing terribly surprising here. Once again, Ecliptic Threat is banned, which makes me sad. It's fine. It's okay. I didn't want to see it anyways. It's not true. I wanted to see it.
Don't worry, I'm pretty sure you'll have some past games with Ecliptic Threat.
I'm sure we have so many games.
We'll send you forward some of them.
Yeah, like it's not at all a surprise. But this time we're going to be starting out here on Vanilla 2v2. Alright, is there anything else we need to do before jumping into the
I don't think. This should be all good.
Alright then. It looks like we are good to go. The players are here, the match is ready, and they're rearing to get into the action, so let's jump right into it. Team Cole, great. I like that name better than the one they have in Challenger mode.
Yeah, the one on Challenger mode, it was a bit too long, so they sent me this one instead for inside the game.
I like that. Team Cole, great.
It is so good.
That's so good. We're going with that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're off to round one. As here we have on the left hand side, it is Team Cole Great, Hooper and Toothpaste are facing off against their opponents on the right hand side in the red. It is Team Dragon Warriors, Rayhan and Tortuga. The Moonshine Commander playing with a bit more EMP on their weapons, whereas a Team Dragon Warriors is playing as the Spook Commander, so they will be able to thieve money from their opponents straight from their reserves. The question will be, how do things proceed? We do see Toothpaste going with a bit of a base lane. You see his fort being dragged backwards. Oh, and so is Whooper. That's a good sign.
They're not entirely new to the concept.
Yes. I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing at a team called Great here. As Team Dragon Warriors is keeping it real basic, real simple. Looks like they're keeping on top of... Looks like they're doing everything right in terms of the things that need to get done. They're staying on top of a build order. They're getting their economy on time. They're getting their tech on time. Nothing fancy. Oh, we see Tortuga getting some long braces. That's a little bit more fancy. Extra stability for Tortuga on the right side. I think this is going to be one-sided.
It will depend on the timings, I guess, but it does look like Colgrate is going to be ahead.
The token EMP. It's gonna do horrible, horrible damage. By that I mean it's gonna shut down the core and the technology, which is gonna be a big setback repeatedly.
They already have some anti-air though.
Yeah, Rayhan's got some anti-air. Takes out the EMP. There's no sniper for Team Colgrate, so that those machine gunners are going to keep the EMP in check, and they're not going to get punished for it.
At least for a small while. It looks like Rayhan is getting some storage for Howitzer. Meanwhile, Whooper is having a plasma in his wood spam.
Yes.
An odd choice, but might work.
It does. I mean, we've seen more and more of that. That is not where you want to put your plasma. If you're gonna put plasma in your wood spam, that's not how you do it. But we have seen more and more of recently weapons in wood spam.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty reluctant to that concept because you're losing on defense, obviously.
Yes.
And usually, if that weapon goes, you're just going to die. Especially if you have two of them just right next to each other like that.
Well, I mean, at least it's sized so that it doesn't take up more.
Yeah. Yes, that is true.
More
it's only
space.
1 box worth.
It is. So it's not going to be too big of a deal, I suspect.
We have a Howitzer from Toothpaste, and from a Rayhan, who is a bit ahead on the Howitzer.
Yes. And that's what I was getting at earlier, because Dragon Warriors is actually doing a good job of staying on top of their timings for things. I'm going to say there are obvious inefficiencies, from the very boxy behinds to, I mean, look at this giant diagonal door. There are things that could be done better, which would prevent issues later on, but in terms of timings, they're actually on the spot for timings. Of course, there's other issues, such as complete lack of armor or defenses in front of the core, which is about to become relevant here because it is cannon o'clock and these lasers are coming online for Team Colgrate.
Well, not converting to back bracing though, so he might have a bit of time to defend, but I'm not sure he will recognize the threat.
Yes. Well, as now those weapons are ready to fire. And Rayhan, he's recognizing that he needs defenses, but
it's a bit late.
Is it too little too late?
It's a sweet time.
There's still time.
If he fires the Howitzer first, he might just scare off the opponent just enough. That is a bit far.
Howitzer swings and misses. Well, that's not enough. That is not nearly enough armor in front of his core. Oh, but the cannons are firing. That's surely going to trigger Team Colgrit to return fire.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he doesn't recognize the core is vulnerable. Massive damage. Just goes clean through what little armor he had. Rayhan takes a huge hit, losing most of his internals and tech along the way. But he doesn't die. He's still alive. He actually has stability tech in play, and it keeps him intact. Actually, there's not even much in the way of deformation there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, well, a huge setback. That's relatively swift recovery there.
This is death.
But
oh,
that's
no energy.
oh, and he runs out of energy. He had
These
the
are better.
killing blow. The core was directly exposed, and the plasma beam hit the core, knocking it down to 42%. And then Colgrit ran out of power. Whooper just didn't have the energy in him to finish it. And now Rayhan
some
is
shields.
recognizing that he's vulnerable and getting energy shields, and that will leave Whooper completely unable to take out or hit Rayhan's core again. He had his shot, he had his opportunity, and Colgrit didn't quite land it.
Meanwhile, Tortuga has a second cannon soon to be operational. But it hit.
And going for a third cannon, I like this. It's basic,
Rayhan
it's
needs to
simple.
shoot his weapons though.
Yes. I mean, yes. I see promise in these Dragon Warriors. They're incredibly unoptimized, or they're incredibly, well, I guess unoptimized is the right word. You see giant doors, we see inefficient building patterns everywhere. But they're just staying on their timings. They're spending their money. They're not floating resources much. And they're expanding. They have more weapons than their opponents at this point.
This might be dangerous.
Oh. Firebeam is a follow-up. Oh,
yeah,
it's
this is
just
over.
too much. And it all collapses. Dragon Warriors is wiped out by Colgrit's pristinely done damage. Well played.
Hello, everyone.
Colgrit wins round 1.
Did we just see an entire match with no sniper?
We just see an entire match with no sniper. I think so. I think so. God, look at that replay. It's just so much explosion. Well, welcome to Forts. That's good. I like this. This is why the Forts Pro League is the best. Alright, and now we're going on to round 2, which will be on up and down. The players are picking their commanders. We'll be ready here in a short minute or two. But yeah, as we mentioned earlier, there's a new Forts DLC coming out. It's the Firebird DLC, complete with new storyline, new campaign. You want to tell us a little bit about it there, 42? Do you have any sneak peeks?
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to give any sneak peeks. I'm just allowed to say that it will be coming soon.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Coming soon to a Steam shop near you. New Forts DLC. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sweet new campaign.
Yes. That's gonna be a whole playthrough. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the players are ready, the match is made, and I hope you are here and ready to enjoy because we're going off to round 2 in this best of 3. And we're off. Here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Dragon Warrior, playing as the Hurricane Commander. Against their opponents on the right-hand side, it is Team Cold Great, playing as the Overdrive Commander. Now we get to see how these players handle up and down. Once again, we're seeing Team Colgrate doing some base leaning and structural re-engineering. I do like what I'm seeing here out of Team Colgrate. You know, for newer players, Team Colgrate is doing the thing. They're doing the things right. They've got the little things down packed. They've got the building shape. They've got pretty much everything. Like they got the major details. They got the major details on lockdown. Of course, we could use some more sniping, but that's a different question. On the other side, Dragon Warriors are doing what they can. Keeping up, they've already got their heavy weapons tech placed. Like, they're going fast. They have a goal, and that goal involves getting heavy weapons on the board and blasting their opponents.
They might be able to surprise their opponents.
Yeah, if they keep up this pace, they will almost certainly surprise their opponents, I dare say.
Double cannon tech from Gold Great.
The Hurricane timings give that 10% lead.
It does give that 10% build speed boost. It's worth noting that it doesn't come with the eco to actually utilize that 10% boost. Usually tech is locked behind economy rather than time, but yes, it does come with 10% boost, which will certainly help those weapons come out faster. As once they've been placed, they will construct more quickly. Yeah, that first plasma is placed at 315. Which means you're going to have a pre-5 minute opportunity to fire. Honestly, if Tortuga just fires his plasma at like 4:30, you could see potential game-ending damage,
well, it will be up
a
by
massive
4:30, but yeah, basically,
yeah, maybe like 2.
will be fast.
Sorry, 4.
50 something.
450. Yeah.
We have a howitzer. And maybe a
Two-pace man.
second from Whooper.
Oh, great. Going howitzer. Actually, Rayhan for Team Dragon Warriors, his howitzer is slower than Toothpaste Man's, his direct opponents.
Yes, but with the 10%, it might be just the same.
This is true. Firebeam is ready. Oh, he's just keeping his. He's got no doors on this. He's gonna fire this as soon as he can.
And yeah, that's what she should do. If he
Like,
fires directly
absolutely,
at the core,
he can end the
or
game right
howitzer.
here. Yeah, just like if he hits anywhere on the base, there's no. You can't miss. He can't miss.
And he did.
Yes, he can miss. It is possible to miss. If he hit literally anywhere in the base, that would have been over. Literally anywhere. The howitzers cover the top section near the foundations, and then there's the core, and there's nothing below.
He might be able to still hit the howitzer on top.
Yes, and he should. That is...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if he has the energy for it.
He does. But the plasma is still off.
There's just enough armor now that he has to merge the beams, and he doesn't quite get it. Oh no. Oh, it was so close. He almost had it.
Oh, great space for a sniper.
That hurts my soul. It hurts my soul so much to see that.
Rayhan now has a howitzer, but toothpaste as well. Oh, that's good hit.
Now that's a beautiful shot.
Decent howitzer.
And howitzer flies. That's a good hit. Toothpaste Man takes a hefty chunk of damage. Dragon Warriors with nothing fancy, no base optimizations. They just got weapons out early and they're wielding them. And if they're doing enough damage that Team Colgrate cannot maintain taking these hits, they have to do something about it.
This is not ideal.
Yes. The problem for Team Dragon Warriors is that they haven't destroyed Team Colgrate yet. They had the opportunity to, didn't quite make it. And now Colgrate has lots of weapons and are getting ready to fire. Whooper in the bottom base here is double howitzer. Isn't ready to fire a double howitzer, but is likely to shoot one of them here in a second. And that one howitzer could set back Tortuga enough to give Whooper the opportunity to fire the second one, and then it's just a death spiral. I say could because there's lots of machine gunners at a Team Dragon Warrior, and those are Hurricane machine gunners.
Ooh.
One howitzer shot lands.
Exposed cannon. Let's delete it.
Slices off a chunk of Whooper's armor.
And they're
Tortuga
using the
really needs to
hurricane
focus on
active.
getting those fire
We
beams
shoot again fast.
properly aligned with the plasma.
Yeah.
I think Team Colgrate has done a great job of practicing their early builds and so forth when it comes to like game sense and just trying to react quickly. They've had overdrive charged for at least the last 3 minutes now, and they have not used it.
Right.
Yes, overdrive. Colgrate is using the overdrive commander, and the way the overdrive commander works is that you activate your commander. You activate your commander ability, and it just gives you more money. Now, both players from Team Colgrate are floating their metal away, and have been for quite some time. They've floated quite a lot of money at this point. And they've also not used their commander ability, meaning not only have they not used their current money, but they have commander ability money just sitting around unused. So they are way behind on their expenditure for income. Whereas Team Dragon Warriors is, well, Tortuga specifically is spending all of his money. Rayhan's kinda struggling to spend his money, but isn't quite as big of an offender as the players from Colgrate in that regard. So if things continue the way they are, Dragon Warriors may just out-eco Colgrate by virtue of spending their money, whereas Colgrate technically has a better economy, but isn't using. Those buzzsaws are just being a menace. It's beautiful.
And the door
Oh,
snipe.
door snipe. And the collapse. Toothpaste Man takes massive damage. His internal structure is collapsing. And his core is exposed. That plasma doesn't quite nail the hit.
I don't think he has the angle quite. But the howitzer?
Oh, but that howitzer does.
Yes.
And it's gone. A beautiful aimed howitzer shot, and Colgrate loses a player. Toothpaste Man gets blasted out of this round. Now, Whopper still has 2 howitzers. One of them cannot fire because it is hard walled in. That is something which Reaper can change or not.
There we go. Gets the shot.
As finally, the Dragon Warriors' energy weapons focus their fire and go clean through his defenses, slicing into the core and bringing them victory in round 2. We're going to round 3 here, folks. Well played to Dragon Warriors, evening the score after last round's disastrous domino effect. So that means we're going to round 3. And we'll get to see... Oh, what map is that?
Caverns.
Caverns. Caverns 2v2. Excellent. Yeah, so that's an interesting comparison. So here we see an example of... I'm going to say it. Team Colgrate is... How do I want to put this? There's a... I'm going to say Team Dragon Warriors are clearly somewhat less experienced than Team Colgrate. They don't have all the little optimizations that make forts more resilient, that make them generally better. But what Team Dragon Warriors does have is a rigorous adherence to build order timings and just spending their money. And here we see that was enough to make the difference. Where we have forts, their forts may crumble under relatively light firepower. They may not be very stable, but if they get their weapons out early enough and just get shots off onto the board, then it's fine. And here we see them taking victory for it. Sure, it looked like their base was about to collapse just off of its own recoil. But it didn't, and their opponent suffered. Suffered to the point where Team Dragon Warriors took a round. It's good. Alrighty then. It looks like we're about ready to jump into the next round. So we'll be kicking it off here in a second. We're going to round 3, folks. Team Dragon Warriors versus Team Coal Great. There we go. So here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Dragon Warriors playing as the Moonshine Commander. Against their opponents on the right-hand side, it's Coal Great as the Hurricane Commander. So things are progressing about the same as in previous rounds. I'm not seeing anything different off the start. We see Coal Great doing what I'd say is a decent job of re-engineering their base. They're doing a good job of re-engineering their base. Toothpaste Man's struts seem to be consistently a little longer than I would expect them to be. It's like he's going for the full 4 length, which isn't a bad thing. To be clear, it's just, it tends to be more than what most players go for. Most end up getting like either a 3 or 3.5 as opposed to a 4 full. The difference is that when you go for a full 4 long, it becomes a bit more mechanically difficult to do because you're at the edge. If you're just a few pixels off, then it doesn't work, and then you have to start restructuring everything or pushing things around, like tilting your fort, relying on deformation to get your fort intact. As the EMP hits, technically does some core damage, mostly just shutting things down. Once again, we see early heavy weapons tech out of Team Dragon Warriors. Oh, poor Toothpaste Man. Getting bullied by EMPs. Honestly, every one of those EMPs shuts down his tech and delays progress just a little bit more. In a bit of a twist, Team Dragon Warriors doesn't have their heavy weapons down already. We see Tortuga in the top fort going maximum economy. Oh, EMP did not survive the experience. Honestly, I think this may be an edge to Team Coal Great here. Oh god, it hits the howitzer directly. Yeah. So Team Tortuga went, or at least I say Team Tortuga, Team Dragon Warriors. Tortuga for Team of Team Dragon Warriors went maximum eco first and doesn't have weapons placed. Whereas their opponents, both of their opponents, Team Colgrade, have howitzers already placed. They're still in construction. Rayhan's got a howitzer, but it isn't... It's not the same quantity or speed as Team Colgrade's here. So this is a substantially different strategy than they did last round, and I think it's not going to work out well for them. They're playing for the later game, but Team Colgrade, just their players, know how to build bases, or rather are building bases that are much more refined for later game play. Okay. Rayhan from Team Dragon Warriors is building a couple energy shields, but there are no lasers for Team Colgrade, so the energy shields won't be doing much. And with this extra time, Team Colgrade is using it to just shore up their defenses. What weaknesses they had in previous rounds are not being punished in this round, just because Team Dragon Warriors is choosing to go late game and not build up and not fire their weapons early. So that means that Team Colgrade's going to be able to just do what they want. What they want involves building howitzers and sending lots of damage out against Team Dragon Warriors here. Team Dragon Warriors has a good chunk of defenses. They won't be able to be taken out immediately, but this is 3 howitzers out of Team Colgrade. Dragon Warriors' defenses are not capable of handling 3 howitzers. First howitzer flies for Team Dragon Warriors, and Toothpaste Man takes it directly to his front. Follow-up cannon doesn't hit the same spot the howitzer did, so it doesn't penetrate. Just does a little bit of splash damage against Toothpaste Man's core. With a laser out of Tortuga, Hooper actually almost breaks from that. That went all the way to his house. Like, that actually penetrated Hooper's defenses.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Eagle shot.
Not like this. Tortuga and Rayhan perfectly coordinated their weapons. Both of them perfectly placed on Toothpaste Man's door, and immediately snipes out his howitzer, detonating everything nearby, including his core. Toothpaste Man goes down as Colgrade is looking like they're getting blasted out of this game.
And
there it is. Another door snipe, and it's over. That's it. That's just how it ends. Dragon Warriors just shoot them in the face and it's done. The door snipe is so strong. Just with some perfectly aimed lasers. Perfectly aimed cannons. And it's over. Team Dragon Warriors wins it. That was way faster than I was expecting. Okay then. Well, there you have it. Team Dragon Warriors wins this best of 3, 2-1. Yeah. So welcome to much better even teams, much better matchmaking. This is why I've mentioned it before, when we have things like our weekly Fort streams where it's just random lobbies and the match. There's no real matchmaking, and it's just whatever teams are, and it's unbalanced because it's unbalanced. This is what you get when we have actually good and even matches. It's madness, and it's beautiful, and it makes me happy every time. Very, very well played to both teams. Look at it, just broke through the doors and slammed the howitzer. And then the same thing, but again up here. Clean through the open doors, the howitzer gets blasted, and the whole base comes crumbling down. Yeah, that's a good time. That's a very good time. Alright, you know what that means, guys. That means it's time for the next round. Right after this break.
Alright, I will be
We're gonna be going
playing
to
the
a-
next one.
ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we're getting set up for the next round. I hope you guys are ready because we've got, well, one of our fan favorites around here. 42 Scientists is going to be joining the combat. Make sure to get your votes in. Who do you think will be victorious here in this best of 3? Team Howitzer Mom versus Price of Fame. Where does the laser go? That's right, it goes in the cannon hole. Oh god, that's gonna live rent-free in my brain. Thank you, Mr. Quicksilver in chat for putting that in my brain. That's going to live there rent-free for at least the next day. That's, Why have you done this to me? Alright. We've got a couple minutes, we've got another minute here before we start out. Let's go ahead and check out those picks and bans. Looks like we've got things ready to go. Spook and Overdrive are banned. Eclectic Threat is banned? No! But it's Vanilla Large into Caverns. A way to keep things simple for the start. I'm sure we'll see some of the crazier things as the rounds go on. But today it is simple. It is filled with cannons and door snipes, mostly by lasers. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the players are ready. The match is made. Are we ready to jump into the action here? Okay then, we will be starting it here in 5. Howitzer Mom versus Price of Fame. And we'll see what their commander's choices are. And we're off. So here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Howitzer Mom playing as the Seep Commander. Oh yeah, things are going to get real wobbly real quick. As they're against their opponents on the right-hand side is Team Price of Fame playing as the Warthog Commander. So Seep Commander does give away what they're intending to do. We do see base leans happening for everyone. They're getting a little lopsided with it. But with Seep being the commander of choice, that means you're going to see missile weaponry. Presumably, or at least typically, of the swarm missile variety. Swarm missiles into nukes. There's no real portal nuke opportunity on this map. So we won't be seeing portal nukes, but we will be seeing... the megaton explosives.
Well, bets on 42 going lasers every match.
Yeah, you know, I like that bet. I like that bet going lasers every time. Honestly, I'm not sure what he could go for. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. Man does like his lasers. But he has been practicing, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him mix it up every now and again. Honestly, Forts is not such a complicated game where it feels like you can do your own thing. There are just things to do and don't do. Yes, you have a choice to go cannons or lasers, but realistically, there are times and places to use each, and so learning when to tech switch is just kind of part of the game, and knowing how to use everything is just something you have to do. So when you get good, cannons and lasers is less of a vibe than what you need to do at the time, kind of like there is a correct decision to make if winning the game is the goal. Things are going to be kicking off pretty quick here, as Team Howitzer Mom is going swarm missiles, and swarm missiles come out a lot earlier than most other weapons. They're hunting turbines, their favorite food. 42 scientists gets devoured for lunch. Should I say breakfast? It's the first meal of the swarm missiles. They call that breakfast. 42 donates breakfast to the Team Howitzer Mom. The swarm missiles will feast. Hunting for more swarm missile, hunting for more turbines. I don't think they get it. Nope, those turbines get to survive. Peel's turbines get to survive, 42s get devoured. Top Cat upgrading his first swarm missile to a nuke. And the swarms keep launching. I'm a little surprised to see the Price of Fame not redesigning their bases to be able to face tank nukes. It is typical of teams when they see nukes to do two things. One, get anti-air. Two, thicken themselves such that when a nuke lands, as it inevitably does, it splashes away from all important things. Price of Fame is running out of time. Those nukes are... There's about to be a nuke ready on the board. Also, Chomper hasn't launched his swarm missiles even once, which is concerning for Team Howitzer Mom. They want to be applying pressure as early and as quickly as possible. I'm not sure what's going on with that. He hasn't floated any metal. He has spent all of his money. It just also hasn't... I don't know where he spent his money. But the first nuke lands. 42 Scientist takes a lot of damage for that one. He definitely wants to unthicken himself more. But we're starting to see the thickness on the bases happen, as well as machine gunners and anti-air come out. Nuke
I do like the buzzsaw.
Immediately started upgrading for Champa. Go ahead, Mimo. And some nukes fly again. It gets drunk. It goes straight to 42's base. 42 takes a hit. His core is down to 80% now. 42's plasma is finished. Just needs some doors and it can get firing. Oh, so close. Peel fires his first howitzer. Misses. Oh my god, he missed on purpose. Oh my god, he missed on purpose. I was like, there's no way he missed. That's such a hard shot to actually... No, he missed on purpose. You mad lad. Why are you like this? I approve. Chomper gets knocked out. His foundation's obliterated. Okay. I was about to say, it takes skill to miss that shot. I was correct. It takes skill to miss that shot. He missed on purpose, so that he could get extra splash damage onto Chomper's foundations. And the second shot just blasted him. And there it is, a clean follow through. Howitzer Mom gets... I mean, that was just critical. That was very precise, very efficient. One volley from each player, and the Price of Fame takes it.
They got tickled, and then they punched back.
Yes. I was going to say, Team Howitzer Mom did not do an effective job of applying pressure where they needed to apply pressure. It's just the missiles weren't there. They weren't quite there on time. They weren't applying enough pressure. Top Cat did a pretty decent job, but one player does not provide enough pressure. It needs to be both. And without Chomper having enough swarm missile launches and a later nuke, it wasn't enough pressure to stop Press and Fame from just existing. And that was how that went.
And again, I'm still impressed that he thought to use Warthogs. If your first shot misses, you get a second with heavy weapons to just get that extra bit of splash damage onto the foundations.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll go into an explanation there. Mechanically, the Warthog Commander, one of its passives, one of its quirks, is that if it misses a shot and doesn't directly impact an opponent, it gets to fire, it instantly reloads and gets to fire again. Let's say you shoot your howitzer and you just completely whiff your opponent. Oh yeah, this moment here. That's scary. Wobbling the wrong way, as it were. But this guy here, you see how it didn't directly impact the foundation there? It dealt damage to the foundations, but it didn't actually hit the opponent. And therefore he gets a second shot for free, which means he gets to send 2 howitzers into the foundation nodes by utilizing the Warthog reload mechanic, yeah, refire mechanic. And that was, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, neither were their opponents.
Yes. Okay. So that's that was fascinating. I didn't expect any of what happened there. But it looks like we are good to go into round 2. So we are starting it in 5, 4. And Team Howitzer Mom versus Price of Fame. Alright. It's the same commanders, but swapped. I was like, hold up, wait a minute. They're doing the same thing again. No. It's that they've swapped commanders. It's traded commanders. I think Price of Fame is going to attempt to show Team Howitzer Mom how to use Seep. So Seep is the more interesting commander here, because it's going to define the pace of the game. With Seep and their missiles being the early aggressor. But Team Howitzer Mom, on the right-hand side here, is playing as the Warthog Commander. So they get bigger explosions, empowered heavy weapons, basically is what it is. All their heavy weapons gain more power, bigger explosions, more damage, that kind of thing. As well as the quirk of being able to refire their weapons if they miss. Of course, that doesn't come into effect very often, because at this level, who misses their shots? The answer is apparently Peel when he's attempting to double shot someone by like cheesing the splash damage mechanic. But that's real basic, real simple. Heavy weapons just deal more damage. That's his whole gimmick. Very effective. Whereas on the other side, Seep, they get faster firing missiles. Their nukes, when damaged, will explode into swarm missiles. So it's very, very missile-oriented, which means that they're going to be going for the missile weapons, and missile weapons are just, by coincidence, these earlier game aggression tools. So I'm expecting to see earlier game aggression. Now, last time I mentioned portal nukes. And the reason I mentioned portal nukes is because portal nukes are a later game option for swarm missiles. Because typically swarm missiles are early game and only early game, kind of, sort of. Because they have to be built into the foundations, which means they replace a mine. Unless you're in a situation where portal nukes can happen. This is a situation where portal nukes can happen, so the nukes can be built at a later stage without sacrificing your economy. So what will that look like here? Well, you got 2 options. You can either do the same style that the Howitzer Mom did last time, where they just build nukes and swarm missiles early and blast your opponents, hoping to remove them from the game before heavy weapons come out into play, which is a very popular and common way to go about it. Alternatively, on this map, you can use the portal nuke strategy, where you go super late game with the nukes by building up all of your economy, and then building these quad portal system nukes in the deep recesses of your fort, where you don't have to sacrifice any of your economy. You can build them way in the back and portal it forward. Of course, this is expensive, has a ridiculous amount of upkeep, and takes a lot of time to do, so it just cannot happen before cannon o'clock, your standard heavy weapon timing. And that looks like that's exactly what the Price of Fame here is going to do, where 42 scientists and Peel are going to be setting themselves up with this late game style play, with portal nukes and laser support, where Peel is in the lower fort going for Fire Beam, Plasma Beam to support the nukes, and 42 Scientists is in the upper fort going to build himself, it looks like 4... It looks like 3, I don't know if he's going to go 4. In my experience, going for the 4th one is impractical, not because you can't do it, but because the amount of energy required to sustain the entire base plus the 4th is just kind of a lot. But he does put the 4th one down, so we're going to see it. I am partial to putting the 4th one down and choosing not to use it, just because if you don't put it down and build as if you're going to use it, then attempting to rebuild it later and incorporate it into the other 3 is just kind of a non-starter. It doesn't work very well. It's mechanically extremely difficult to do. So I just do it right the first time and then don't use it, as opposed to not building it and then not having it if I want it later. So that's what's going on there. Whereas Team Howitzer Mom, they're going for what I'm going to describe as standard builds. I say standard, but standard's probably not the right word because they're way behind on any kind of timing that are considered to be standard. Chomper doesn't have his heavy weapons tech completed yet, let alone weapons. He doesn't have an economic center. He just placed an economic center, so he's not getting upgrades. Top Cat has a standard cannon placed and halfway completed. His base is very well defended. He focused on defense too early, and so didn't upgrade his economy and didn't get his weapons down on time for standard heavy weapons timing, your cannon o'clock timings. So he's just kind of behind and not getting a head start on punishing or suppressing the Price of Fame, where the Price of Fame is taking time to be greedy and just expand their everything. 42 Scientists is already maximum mines, fully upgraded. Peel is working on adding defenses after getting weapons, so he's just waiting for 42 Scientists to get together for an Alpha Strike, or maybe he senses weakness. I think he sensed weakness and wanted to Fire Beam, Plasma Beam. Almost got a kill with it, I must say. So that's a bit exciting. There we see 2 nukes upgrading for 42 Scientists. He's got 2 swarm missiles, so I expect those to be... I actually kind of expect him to fire those, because what else are you gonna do? He doesn't have... what he's gonna do is he's gonna upgrade his turbines, because he does not have the money to even sustain himself right now. Like he's barely positive on his eco, so he's gotta upgrade his turbines, probably get more turbines than he currently possesses. He's only got 9k batteries, or 9k storage, which is not enough to fire the swarms and plasma nukes at the same time.
Well, I think he needs to fire soon before Pele makes it a moot point.
That is a good point. The way things are going, Peel with his Fire Beam, Plasma Beam has a solid chance of just ending the game. Chomper does not have the defenses to sustain hits from Fire Beam, Plasma Beam. Top Cat does, but he's also liable to collapse himself the way he's going. So, Top Cat's base is so steady that he just took that and didn't even deform. Like, his base didn't even wobble, which is impressive. And literally every swarm missile gets taken out. That's rare. That's more like a token spite. I'm kind of surprised the C-42 isn't doing a whole rope extension back there. Ah, I see. His portals are not properly placed, and therefore he cannot fire his swarm missiles. Or should I say, cannot fire his nukes. But yeah, basically everyone here is going defense. Now, Peel has to wait for 42 to be ready. Looks like 42 is ready again. Double cannon. Peel just face tanks it. And nukes are launching. Firebeam defends the nukes. Ooh. Lots of damage. Oh, is that it? That's it, isn't it? Yep. Top Cat goes down. An Alpha Strike, focus fired from the Price of Fame, and Top Cat is knocked out in totality. Sniper from 42 keeps Chomper suppressed. And now it's just time for another Alpha Strike, a little bit of focus fire. Double nukes land, leaving Chomper exposed to any kind of follow-up. Peel's weapons are just now recharging, so he might not be able to take advantage of the lack of defense. Yeah, he is. And that does it. Well, that was not fast, but that was quite methodical. The Price of Fame just built everything they wanted, and then they just hit him with everything they wanted, and what they wanted was to end the game in their victory. So, the Price of Fame just takes it in a clean sweep, where both rounds were a clean knockout. Okay.
And I am back.
Welcome back. That was, dare I say, incredibly clean. That was very one-sided is what that was.
Yes. I feel sorry for the other team, but that is how it is.
Yes. The Price of Fame, 42 wins it. So tell us about your strategies there, 42. What were you thinking? I mean, I can see what was doing, but I want to hear it from you. What was your thought process in round one?
Right, so let me go back to the replay. to make sure. Like, I mean, we just went, okay, for the first game we'll just play it like we know how to. We just went for howitzer, I just went for my lasers as usual. Like, we didn't really think too much about it. Then we immediately saw about the seep thing, because we didn't see the laser reticle. And so a bit of panic came here, but it was fine. We just went, okay, let's just face tank a bit of everything, and then whenever we have weapons, just try to focus the clearly weaker player of the two, I would say.
So here's a question.
Yes.
Did Peel purposefully miss the howitzer to get the second shot?
Okay, so he missed it, and then in VC he said, yeah, clearly purposely did that, but no.
Okay.
It was
I
not
was
on
like,
purpose,
there's.
it was extremely
I was
funny.
like, that is such a hard shot to miss. I was like, he had to have done that on purpose.
He did not, but it was so funny to see.
It was very effective, I must say. Getting the double splash damage all over the foundation just disintegrated his entire bottom line.
Yes, I was very surprised as well.
That might be an actual like meta strat.
It was not intentional,
Holy
but it
smokes.
was extremely funny. And
That
for one
was-
too, we just
I like that.
went like, "Hey, how about I just do the funny French strat of upper nukes like that?"
You know,
It was
that
nice.
works. I was wondering if you guys were gonna go like, oh hey, they tried to hit us with the nukes, so we're gonna show them how to do it.
It was not my thought process, but it could have been.
Good lord. All right then. So that I believe is the last round we have for today, but that also means that the FPL is officially kicked off. So we're going to be doing FPL matches for the next month or so. While we get up all these scores and prepared for the playoffs.
Hmm.
Do we have any other announcements we want to go for before carrying on?
We have the airships bundle going on right now. Airships conquer the skies. If you buy the two, I think you have 10% off with forts.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's really cool.
But no, we don't have any other announcements. I guess I will be sending you the nicest replays I come by during the FPL, so you can cast.
Yes, please. That means more FPL videos, nicely edited for everyone.
And also, starting from round 2, so next week, since we are using the Swiss system, you will be able to directly see which are the highest stakes matches. So you can pick your fights, basically. You'll be able to pick whatever you want to cast.
Oh, cool. Okay then.
Because a quick reminder of how the Swiss system works, for the viewers here who are not aware, whenever you win a match or lose a match, you get seeded in some specific group. So if you have won one match and lost 0, you are in the top group basically for that round. And whenever you score enough matches to be sure to qualify to the next stage, you don't have to play anymore, basically. So if you are at 1 loss for the qualifier round, if you lose another time, you're out of the FPL altogether. So it's a very high stakes match.
Okay.
And obviously, if you are in the upper groups, you have better teams playing. So it will be also good matches to see.
Okay. Well then. Well, that's just... I like that. I like that. Okay.
You'll be able to immediately tell what the score of each team is, because it will be based on what group they are sitting in.
Okay then. So that also means we're going to get some even better matches.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. So we'd love to see it. We also have the Forts DLC coming out soon. Make sure to put that on your wish list because, well, I do, and I'm looking forward to that. I cannot wait to get some more videos out about that. I'm so excited. You have no idea. Everything will be on fire.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, then that will be wrapping it up here for the Forts Pro League launch day. So make sure to check by later tonight when we have our standard stream, and I will see you guys there.